Namaste to all students. In my previous video, I introduced the term cell in front of you. Now today in this video, I'll teach you the structure of the cell in detail. All organisms have similar structural organization, so all cells are made up of three parts: plasma membrane or cell membrane, nucleus, and cytoplasm. Plant cells have an additional structure apart from these. It is called the cell wall. Let's talk about plasma membrane in detail. Plasma membrane or cell membrane is the flexible structure made up of lipids and proteins. It is a living membrane and it allows only selective molecules to pass, hence it is called selectively permeable membrane. The molecules move in and out of the cell by passing through the plasma membrane by the process of diffusion. Gases like O2 and CO2 are exchanged by the process of diffusion, and water molecules move in and out of the cell by the process of osmosis. So osmosis is a special type of diffusion that is applicable on liquid molecules. Cell wall. It is a hard, non-living and rigid layer present in the cells of some organisms like plants, bacteria and fungi. In plant, this cell wall is made up of cellulose, which is a complex carbohydrate. In bacteria, it is made up of peptidoglycan, and in fungus, this cell wall is made up of glycogen. The function of the cell wall in plant cells is to provide rigidity and structural strength to the plants, as plants do not have bones and hard structures like us. So most of the plant tissues are dead. Nucleus. Nucleus is the control center of all the activities of the cell. As we have brain in our body which controls all the functions of body, similarly nucleus is called the brain of the cell. In animal cell, it is located in the center, whereas it is located on the periphery in plant cells due to the presence of a big central vacuole in it. The nuclear membrane separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm. The nuclear membrane has nuclear pores which help in exchanging of materials between the nucleus and cytoplasm. Inside the nucleus, we can see a network of thread-like structures. This is called chromatin network, which contain chromosomes. Chromosomes are made up of DNA and proteins. When the cell is about to divide, the chromatin network condenses to form rod-shaped chromosomes. Chromosomes are made up of DNA, and the smallest fragment of DNA is called gene. A gene is responsible for transmission of hereditary characters from parents to offsprings. This type of nucleus is found in eukaryotic cells. It is called a well-defined nucleus. One more special thing is visible inside the nucleus, that is called nucleolus. Nucleolus is the factory of ribosomes. On the basis of presence or absence of nuclear membrane, the cells can be classified as prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus. Eu means advanced and karyon means nucleus. Prokaryotic cells are primitive type of cells which do not have this kind of well-defined nucleus. They only have single DNA suspended in the cytoplasm without any nuclear membrane or nucleoplasm. Whereas eukaryotic cell has this type of nucleus which has nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm and nucleolus. This is the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell on your screen. Let's study these differences in detail. Prokaryotic cells are generally small in size, 1 to 10 micron meter, whereas eukaryotic cells are large sized, 5 to 100 micron meter. The nuclear region in prokaryotic cell is called nucleoid, and it is not surrounded by a nuclear membrane, while the nuclear region of a eukaryotic cell is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. In prokaryotic cell, only a single chromosome is present, whereas in eukaryotic cell, more than one chromosome is present. Nucleolus is absent in prokaryotic cell, where it is present in eukaryotic cell. Not only this, prokaryotic cell also lack membrane-bound cell organelles, while in eukaryotic cell, such membrane-bound cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi are all present. Prokaryotic cell divides by fission or budding, whereas eukaryotic cell divides by mitotic or meiotic cell division. We will study about these types of cell division in detail at the end of this chapter. On the right side of your screen, you can see the structure of a eukaryotic cell and a prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell can be observed in bacteria. Eukaryotic cells are present in our body and in plants. Let's talk about cytoplasm in detail. Cytoplasm is the fluid substance which is present inside the plasma membrane, or I would say it is the fluid material of the cell in which all cell organelles remain suspended. Cells need a lot of chemical activities to support their structure and function. The cell has different structures to perform different activities for the cell. These membrane bound little structures present in the cytoplasm are called cell organelles. All the cell organelles float in the cytoplasm. The material enclosed inside the plasma membrane, including cell organelles and the nucleus, is called the protoplasm. Now we are going to discuss about diffusion and osmosis. First, diffusion. The movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration till an equilibrium is attained is called diffusion. Various life processes such as respiration, digestion, circulation involves diffusion. So here the molecules move from high concentration to low concentration, as you can see in the diagram given on your screen. Diffusion helps in the movement of water, ions, gases, glucose and other small molecules across the cell membrane. Osmosis is a special type of diffusion of water from higher water concentration to lower water concentration across a selectively permeable membrane. In diffusion, no such membrane is required, but osmosis cannot happen without semi-permeable membrane. You can carry out the experiment related to osmosis and diffusion at your home. When you open the bottle of perfume, the fragrance of perfume is spread in the room. This is because of diffusion. To carry out experiment on osmosis, just soak some raisins, that is kishmish, in a bowl of water and observe it next morning. You will find them swollen. The raisins swell up because the water moves inside the raisins. This process in which the water molecules move into the cell is called endoosmosis. If the soaked raisins are then placed in salt solution or sugar solution, then the water molecules will move out from the cells, and this process is called exoosmosis. Thus, movement of water in and out of the cell can be described in terms of exoosmosis and endoosmosis. Once again, I would like to explain exoosmosis and endoosmosis. Exoosmosis is the process of movement of water from the cells to the surrounding medium, while endoosmosis is the movement of water from the surrounding medium to the cytoplasm. The movement of water across the cell membrane depends on the concentration of the surrounding medium or the solution which is present around the cell. The surrounding medium with respect to the cell can be of three types. Isotonic. If the medium surrounding the cell has the same water concentration as the cell, the medium is said to be isotonic. If the cell is placed in isotonic solution, equal number of water molecules will move in and out of the cell, so there is no net gain or loss of water molecules. Hence, the cell placed in isotonic solution will remain in the same size. That is, it will neither shrink nor swell up. Another type of solution is hypotonic. Hypo means less, tonic means concentration. This is the solution that has less concentration, means more water. If the medium surrounding the cell has higher water concentration than the cell, that is the dilute solution, the medium is said to be hypotonic. If the cell is placed in such a hypotonic solution, then the water will move inside the cell by the process of endoosmosis and the cell will swell up. The third type of solution is hypertonic. Hyper means more, tonic means concentration. This is highly concentrated solution which has less quantity of water in it. So if the medium surrounding the cell has lower water concentration than the cell, then what would happen? The water will move out of the cell. As the water will start moving out of the cell, the contents of the cell will shrink, and this process is called plasmolysis. Once again, we describe the plasmolysis. Plasmolysis is shrinking of the protoplasm along with the plasma membrane in the plant cell when it is put in a hypertonic solution. So the details of these solutions is given on your screen.